everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Tuesday, June the 10th, 2025. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cindy Overton.
Rolling with it. True Crime Time for Tuesday. June. Year's halfway over.
Literally.
Crazy. Hashtag justice for Bradley, y'all. Listen to it on Friday. And we're going to work this case. And I truly believe it can be solved, or we wouldn't have taken it. And it's just absolutely crazy. And as always, Miss Barbara Blunt's case, please continue to call in your tips. I recorded with Sheriff Jason R. from Livingston Parish, where she went missing, recorded yesterday. And that'll be released in the next couple weeks. So call in your tips. No tips are too small. And hashtag justice for Haley, as always. But I'm changing it to hashtag justice is coming for Haley, because at least they're looking into the case, which is more than what they were doing.
That's right.
So, but hot AF, a little bit of rainy this week.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I haven't checked the weather either.
All week.
Oh.
Yeah. Just telling you what I know.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you tell us a story?
Oh, I don't have a good one to tell. It's so hard.
You want to make it just like a really bad story day? I mean, bad being like evil and true crime shit.
Okay, let's go evil. You want to go evil? I can take you evil. This is, in my opinion, the evil. I got a Chicago mom. And as mothers do, she was overwhelmed. And she stressed and talked about being overwhelmed.
I deal with that all the time. And I'm not talking about just you. I'm talking about my own mom.
Right. And she was and she had 3 young kids. And so she had voiced that she was overwhelmed, and then she just cracked. So on May 28th of 2025, around 5:45 p.m., a tow truck driver, Devon Stringfellow, noticed a 1-year-old in a bloody diaper wandering on South Harvard Avenue.
I'm pretty sure you see a toddler in a bloody diaper. Shit's about to be fucked up.
Soon after, that 1-year-old child's mother, and I cannot say her name, but her last name is hyphenated, Parker White. She was 23. She came out of a nearby apartment, and she was screaming, crying out for help. So he says she kept screaming like, "I need help. Help me, my baby." And despite the danger, Stringfellow didn't know what he was getting into. He just saw the baby with the bloody diaper,
right.
mom crying.
Anything could have been a dog attack.
Right. He made a split second decision to load all 3. He went and helped and loaded all 3 bleeding children and their mother into his truck and raced them to the hospital.
He went in his house and found 2 more bleeding children.
Yes.
There's 3.
So there's a total of 3.
And he takes them to the hospital.
And he takes
Good
and
Samaritan.
the mom. And the mom's hurt as well.
Yeah. Good Samaritan.
Right. So they get to the hospital, and as we just said, medical staff discovered that there was wounds on all 3 kids. The 1-year-old running around in a bloody diaper, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And the 5-year-old told them, this is the evil. My mom was going to make us go to heaven.
Nice.
So body camera video shows Parker White, the mom, admitting she stabbed her children, saying it felt wrong, but she was under intense stress raising them alone. She was taking care of the children by herself, and it was stressful, and she wanted to kill them and kill her kids.
Well, you failed at that too, hopefully.
A security guard and nurse later confirmed and told investigators she did it because she needed help. There's never an
Whatever.
excuse. I mean, so prosecutors charged Parker White
Where is
with
this? What
in
state?
Chicago
Okay.
with 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder. You wanna ask?
I know. Go ahead. They're not dead yet, so save it.
And 3 counts of aggravated battery to a child, citing her own video statements and the children's reports. So while still in the emergency room, the oldest child, injured and in pain, clung to his crying mother and whispered, "It's gonna be all right. She's the one that did this to them."
Yeah, but they don't know. All they knew is that that's their mom.
And it was in that moment that Stringfellow didn't leave them. So when he heard the little boy say that to her, he said, "That is what's messing me up because I can't get this out of my head." Like, he sees all of the, my mommy was sending us to heaven. The other one saying,
Never fuck anybody
it's
up.
gonna
This
be,
guy's
I
not
mean,
a
of
cop
course
that
not.
deals with this. He's not a
No,
homicide detective. I mean,
no.
they, I'm surprised, whatever. He didn't need medication.
So as of June 4th, the children are still in serious but stable condition at the Children's Hospital, Comer Children's Hospital in Chicago, and Parker White remains in Cook County Jail awaiting a June 6 court hearing, and it's still unclear if she will have legal representation, but that is,
There you go.
yeah.
Evil. She has got, I mean, the kids, it's really, for me, it's really about the kids.
My mom was going to take us to heaven.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
gosh.
thought, right? I didn't play this one for that one because I didn't know about that one, but I'm going to do this one. You know, and I generally don't read these stories about murder suicides.
Mhm.
And just because I hate them so much. I've
Mhm.
worked them, hate them. I just think they're the most cowardly, bitch ass thing somebody could do. But in the spirit of fucking up your day with true crime, I'm going to tell you about another story. And we are going to Katy, Texas,
Mm.
somewhere you know well, right?
Yep.
So, and guess what? A woman and her 7-year-old son were killed, murdered, right? And what police are saying was a double murder suicide by their husband and father. Yeah. Guess what? I don't have to ask Siri about Texas. I know they'd kill a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So the cops responded to the apartment complex in Katy, Texas on Saturday, June the 7th, when they found the woman and the child dead from gunshot wounds, as well as a man who was injured. And this according to Harris County Sheriff's Office, right? So the man, if you can call him that, was transported to a local hospital where he was later pronounced dead as well. Fuck him. Hell or jail, right?
Right.
But according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, and y'all, this Katie's around Houston, same thing. The woman found dead was 43 years old, and her husband was 42 years old. And a family member told the cops that the man had been depressed lately due to unemployment and other issues. So you kill your wife and your kid.
Yeah.
And of course, they haven't released the identities yet, or they're not going to release them probably. But the Harris County Sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, said the young boy was found deceased in his bed.
Mm.
Hopefully, daddy shot him while he was asleep. Homicide investigators, detectives, and CSI units are on the scene processing, according to Sheriff Gonzalez. Lately, the adult male had apparently been without a job and going through some other issues and had possibly sought some treatment recently. But today, we don't know what transpired that led him to take this type of action. And according to Fox 26 in Houston, 2 other people were in the house at the time of shooting. One was a 19-year-old woman, and they're speculating that it's the deceased couple's daughter. And that says she was in her bedroom at the time, and her boyfriend who was staying overnight. I'm really glad they didn't go in there and kill them too. Might not have enough bullets. That's just a crazy, crazy sad story, right? And but honestly, y'all, I see these every day, and I don't generally report on them, but you just did. Mama trying to take babies to heaven. Well, this daddy sent his baby to heaven, and then he sent himself to hell instead of jail. Right? Let's see what else we can dig up and spread the joy on this day.
Well, do you want a bad nurse or a bad teacher?
Your turn to tell a story.
Well,
That means you get to choose.
I get to choose.
So it's going to be.
Oh, we're going to go with a bad nurse. This is just.
It's time for Effed Up Professionals. Do tell.
Okay, so there's a nurse anesthetist. I didn't want to say it, but not an anesthesiologist. It's an anesthetist. I feel like you trying to say,
Hey, don't throw shade on me because you can't say that word.
no, I'm saying I feel like you when you cannot pronounce, you mispronounce certain words and you know that you do, people.
Yeah, and guess what? I'm going to keep doing it.
Right. But this is a Virginia nurse anesthetist. It's not funny either. The name
How
of
do you say
anesthetist.
No, I'm not.
A-N.
I don't need to ask it how you say it if you can't say it.
I think I just said it right.
How do you say A-N
E-S.
E-S
T-H.
T-H
E-T.
E-T
I-S-T.
I-S-T? Fucking Swahili. No, English. In English, the King's English, how do you say A-N-E-S
T-H-E.
T-H-E
E-T-I-S-T.
T-I-S-T? How do you pronounce Anesthetist? So it's anesthetist.
So it's not anesthetist? Anesthetist?
I'm just telling you what I'm reading here. The
Anesthetist is
I'd like this motherfucker to do it for me here. See if it, there you go.
anesthetist. Okay, well I can't.
You want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Anesthetist.
Okay, anesthetist.
You want to hear it in the U.S.?
Yes, please. I think it's
Oops, sorry.
anesthetist.
All right, that's enough time on that bullshit.
So
Tell the story.
the anesthetist his name is Kevin Coulong, and he's in Virginia, and he has had some shocking, horrible, crazy misconduct hidden for years, and he lost his license and reputation over it. But from December 7th of 2017 to February of 2024, there was significant misuse of his patients. So
you're saying he abused his power?
absolutely. So he would do various things to sedated females. One, during a 2017 C-section, a patient recalls him kissing her while
Where the fuck's the
having
nurse at? How do you have a C-section without a nurse?
This is a nurse. This is the nurse. This is the
where's the
one that
fucking
does.
doctor
That's what
at?
I want to know.
Where's the other nurse?
There's not one person.
You don't send one person in to do a C-section.
Maybe it was before. I mean, it says during undergoing a cesarean. August 2018.
This is a dude?
Yeah.
So he slips a little tongue while she's getting ripped open.
Uh-huh. During a patient's knee replacement, he cupped a patient's breast under spinal sedation. So he just like cupped her.
I guess he hoped she couldn't feel it.
I don't know. And in 2022, during there was a hand fracture, and he is said to have kissed the patient deeply while she was still unconscious. So, I
He's
mean,
unconscious and he's trying to make her swallow his tongue.
uh-huh.
Nice.
That gets weirder. In September of 2024, another cesarean, he placed his thumb inside the sedated woman's mouth. What, like, why are you going to do that?
Maybe he's thinking it's his penis.
Like a little Tootsie Roll, what'd you call it?
He did his Tootsie Roll.
Yeah. So, in the psych evaluation that he had to go through, he defended his actions by blaming his patients.
Ah, yes.
He
Yes,
just,
it's, you horny bitch, you come in for a C-section, I'm going to slip you some tongue.
he
It's your
described
fault.
one as clingy, needy, and drowsy. They're under sedation, and insisted he believed they liked him. He also admitted to
Does it rain in your world, sir?
He admitted to craving attention, this is during a psych eval, and thinking he could escape accountability because he believed the patients welcomed it.
Does it rain in your world? Are there unicorns there?
So on May 30th of this year, the Virginia Board of Nursing issued a consent order concluding that Coulong engaged in non-consensual sexual conduct with multiple female patients while they were sedated. Prior and then going back all the way to 2024, Coulong formally surrendered his license and, making it a permanent revocation. But
Let me tell you something. You know this because I had the contract for Louisiana Physician Examiners Board and the Nursing Board, and I had to test these people. They got put on probation every 3 months and stuff. If you lose your fucking license, you've done something fucked.
yeah,
I mean, they give them all kinds of chances and stuff, but
I think his lack of accountability and blaming the victims was like the worst for the board to hear. So,
yeah, well, you know what? I I don't know. One of those fathers to the C-section ought to knock that dude's fucking teeth out. But let me tell you another one.
okay.
Ready?
Mhm.
Going to Tennessee.
Okay.
All right. I'll tell you what part in a minute. And, I never got to know my grandmothers,
Right.
right? They weren't alive. I vaguely remember my mama's mom. I was like 7 when she died. And I remember seeing her out around the pool right before a rainstorm. I'll never forget that image. But um, this dude knew his grandmother, and his name is Kerian Dates. In Jackson, Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
we've driven the route so many times, right? We go from here, drive through Jackson, then through Memphis. We're headed up to where we're headed, right? Usually Wisconsin. Well, Kerian Dates was in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Okay. He got pulled over by the cops for speeding. And he got arrested. And this is about 90 miles from his home in Memphis, right? And he, being the fine young man he is at 23 years old, he was living with his grandmother, right? Screams winter. So when they put the cuffs on him, guess what he said?
I killed my grandmother.
I think I killed her, right? So the Memphis Police Department told all the news channels that Kerian's mother arrived home on Wednesday, June the 4th, around 4:30 p.m. to discover that her mama, 58-year-old Sonia Dates, was lying on the ground with blood surrounding her and a hammer on the floor nearby. reminds me of Nanny, right?
Right.
But the 23-year-old's mom told detectives that her son had been living with Sonia, her mama, right? But they had been arguing recently, and she decided to kick old Kerian out of her house for her own safety.
Can you imagine arguing with your grandmother?
Fuck no.
No.
No. I wish one of my kids would. Even though most of them are grown now, I would knock their fucking teeth
I
out right
know.
in front of my mom. So, and my mama did first. But anyway, she decided she's kicking old Kerian out for
Rightfully
safety
so.
reasons.
Yeah.
Right? And this is all in the affidavit. The police said in the affidavit that Sonia's body was discovered with her backpack on, along with her lunch bag, as if she just came into the house from work.
Mm.
Right? And it's from the Observer. I guess it's in it somewhere in paper or something in Memphis. But according to news outlets, Sonia had 4 wounds caused by blunt force trauma to the back of her head. And the paramedics got there and pronounced her dead at the scene. Now, detectives also found that her 2020 Chevrolet Camaro was missing because old Kerian got to take it for a joyride.
Mhm.
And they then issued an alert for the car, which reports it is stolen,
Right.
right? So Kerian is later in Jackson, Mississippi, about 90 miles from the house, and they got a bolo out in the car. The plate comes back as stolen. This motherfucker's speeding. They run the plate, stolen. And I can assure you, it said potentially related to a homicide and all that. So when the local cops, Jackson, Mississippi police, they pulled him over. They asked him, said, "Hey man, why do you think we stopped you?"
Mhm.
And he says, "I hit Sonia in the head with a hammer, and I think I killed her."
He calls her Sonia.
Sonia. Yep. Yep. So anyway, at that time, I'm sure they advised him of his rights, but he was taken into custody and booked into the Shelby County Jail on Thursday, June the 5th. He's been charged with first-degree murder and theft of property valued at $10,000 to $60,000. Of course, that's for the car. And Kerian, sir, you're an asshole, but I gotta know, and I already think I know the answer. Does Tennessee have the death penalty? No way Tennessee doesn't have it. Let's see. Tennessee definitely has the death penalty, and they be killing them. They give them the choice too: the single drug protocol or electrocution. That was up until 2019, and that they had another one in 2022, and a state grant, whatever. Fuck you, carry on. You're gonna get it. The good people of Tennessee, I urge you to dish out the ultimate punishment.
Yeah. Sure, they will.
All right, you spread some love.
Okay. We have a teacher.
Wait. It's time for Effed Up Professionals.
Okay. So I have a teacher and teachers are not supposed to communicate on social media with a student.
Really?
I mean,
I didn't know that. Rape is
and
bad. Anti-rape clause, right?
and
Prisons.
and when, for example, when I was a teacher, I didn't communicate with any of my obviously my students on social media, um, or even like the parents, unless I did have like a parent page, like where we would all communicate in one section. But like even in living in Marpole, it was hard because it's such a small community that you are friends also with your students' parents as well, you know? So there is a fine line. However, There's really never a fine line for a teacher to send a 14-year-old a nude pic. And that's what happened.
Is it it doesn't really matter. Was it a boy or a girl?
So this was a boy that received the pic from the female teacher, and we're in Florida.
Yeah, and it's definitely wrong. But if I was a 14-year-old young 6'2", 250-pound young blooded male, I'd ate it up. But I understand it's definitely fucking wrong, and she shouldn't have done it.
So Snapchat is like typical. I know you don't Snapchat. I don't Snapchat, but there was many, many, many years ago. The kids and I would send Snapchats to each other, and WL and I had fun on Snapchat because you can make like all the facial distortions that you don't like make your face turn into look like a
Yeah, I can't
puppy, and
stand
you
that
can't
shit.
stand that.
And filters and all that
Right,
bullshit. I can't
right.
stand that.
So, they were just like somehow started snapping each other, and it looked like it was just a casual communication. And she began sending messages to this 14-year-old student. Now,
Like sexual.
in the beginning, it wasn't, but she's a special ed teacher, and this is her 14-year-old student.
So she's in special ed.
I'm assuming, I mean,
And
if you're a
at some
special ed.
point, tell me about the picture. What was sent?
So, um, she was 28, he was 14. She sent him a topless picture, like just a nude boob picture, whatever.
Was there like a text ahead that said, "Here come my titties," or because if she's going to explain, I'm thinking criminal side. I'd be like, "Oh, so I was meant to send that to somebody else. Didn't mean to send it." So
Well,
a text of sexual nature.
I don't with Snap, you don't do a text. You just, like, snap, and then that's kinda like your answer, like, someone will say, "What are you doing?" And you just, you respond to your friends, like, when we're recording, like, you send a pic of that. That's kind of and then someone else will send
So
I'm not professing to be a Snapchat guru or
so
anything.
he got tit pics from this tit.
On January 2nd, he got his picture. So, he, um she sent him a nude image on January 2nd and one showing part of her chest, and investigators eventually confirmed that it matched the background of her home. So, Captain Mark Morey from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office said the evidence against her in the photo with the evidence against her in the photo, we were able to match to the background of her house. And he was like, "This wasn't just inappropriate, it's criminal." Like,
Yeah, it pretty much is guaranteed.
so 2 months passed before the student came forward, and that was on March 3rd. So he got the picture in January. March
Got it.
3rd, he spoke to a school deputy and turned over the screenshots. What happens next is just crazy. So instead of receiving protection after telling the school about the screenshots, he was disciplined, suspended under suspicion of making a false claim.
Somebody's got a lawyer now. Is going to sue the shit out of them.
His mother, Beverly Hernandez, was pissed. I mean, there's no
No,
other
who
way of
fucking wouldn't
saying it.
be?
She said, "Not only was I disappointed that a teacher who was put there to protect my child was grooming him, I'm more disappointed that they inflicted more trauma by calling him a liar."
That times like that, I want to be a personal injury lawyer.
And so she then goes on to say, by his thinking, he was doing the right thing and speaking about
I'm
whatever,
pretty
and they
sure he
retaliate.
held on to it for a couple months, and it was in a spank bank, as it would be for any 14-year-old red-blooded male. But it still makes it wrong. But he turns it over, and for whatever reason, and he feels guilty about it. I don't know. We're speculating. You turn it over, and then you get disciplined. Somebody's going to lose their job.
So from the time he turned it over all the way to May, um, the sheriff's office opened an investigation, and they secured digital records, phone data, and metadata from social media. And on May 14th, following confirmation from law enforcement uh, that this actually did occur, the school finally took action and the teacher was removed from the classroom.
But
But she wasn't
did they put the
fired,
kid back in the classroom?
right? Well, and that's the problem. He got suspended and then he had to go back into the classroom with this woman, like his
Yeah,
team.
I get it.
So So the principal of the school sent a message to families, and that message said, "It took several weeks of investigation to confirm the allegations. Once law enforcement had sufficient confirmation, the teacher was immediately reassigned to a position away from our school where she had no contact with students." I mean, that's just not enough. I mean, they confirmed that this happened and they just reassign her. That's like move her on down the road so she can do it again.
Yep.
And then she immediately so then on June 2nd, charges were finally filed, and the teacher turned herself in to authorities that night. And she was charged with 2 felonies, one for unlawful sexual communication by someone in a position of authority, and then another for sending explicit material to a minor.
Right.
And of course, the district is under extreme criticism for their lack of handling the case correctly and all of that.
I'm sure they have to have good insurance. If I was my kid, it is paid for next 10 generations over, tends to go to college. I mean, that's just fucking stupid.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, in the world that we live in today, to not err on the side of caution is beyond ignorant, right?
Mhm.
So, okay. What I'm about to do today is make you cry. And the theme of the show today, real bad shit, right?
Right.
So I'm not even going to put this one under a category, I don't think. But let's go to Florida, Marion County,
Okay.
all right? And on May the 2nd of 2022, the Marion County Sheriff's Office, they got some reports. People were calling in reports of child abuse. You know why? Because a 2-year-old had been taken to had been rushed to the emergency room in critical condition,
Okay.
right? So when the little baby got there, look how sweet she is.
Oh.
Showing to Facebook, y'all. Not Facebook. What's it called? YouTube.
YouTube.
So when the 2-year-old got there, doctors do what they do, right? And they worked hard doing all the life saving tactics that they could do. The little girl, her name's Jacklyn.
Oh.
And the little girl, Jacklyn, couldn't be saved and was pronounced dead. This according to the district attorney's office. Now, you might ask, where are the parents? Well, Jacqueline's mother had left her in the care of a guy named, we'll say his last name is Thompson, that morning, and she went off to work,
Okay.
doing what parents do, right? You got to pay the bills. 25 minutes after she left for work, she got a call from Thompson who said that there was something wrong with Jacqueline. And the mom told the sheriff's office that when she arrived, Jacqueline was lifeless with a shallow pulse and a distended abdomen. Yeah.
What did he do?
Well, at that point, mom's freaking out, and her and Thompson get in a car and they haul ass with Jacqueline to the nearby hospital when she stopped breathing. So the mom told Thompson to call 911, and an ambulance showed up at a nearby business to transport the 2-year-old for medical treatment. So and that happens a lot. Like the people be on 911, they're out of the way, and the ambulance can meet you halfway, and you do that because the baby's almost dead, and they at least start CPR and shit. in the ambulance. So, and that's what happened. But when the medical team at the hospital was doing their stuff, they suspected that Jacklyn had or was suffering from internal bleeding. And that's when they called the sheriff's office and the Department of Children and Families, like Louisiana BOCS. So detectives show up, and man, I can't tell you the times I had to go into emergency rooms for these kind of interviews. The detectives show up, and one motherfucker, Jacklyn, when she got hurt, was Thompson,
Yeah.
right? And so they talked to him, and Thompson's like, no, man, I was in a different room and I heard a loud noise and I ran in there to check it and I found Jacklyn. She was unresponsive and not breathing. Um, well, despite being the only person left with the victim, Thompson claimed he did not know how Jacklyn became injured. This is the DA's, the attorney's office said in their statement. So on September the 1st, 2022, the medical examiner's office determined that Jacklyn's cause of death was traumatic injuries to her torso, including a severing of her spine and internal bleeding in her abdomen.
What did he do to her?
Right? Fucking, he sliced her spine. We know that, right? But the medical examiner's office determined that Thompson had to apply significant gradual force to Jacklyn's upper and lower body, bending her backward beyond her natural range of motion until her back broke. They said, this monster stole the life of an innocent child, and today the justice system made sure he will never walk free again. Y'all, I skipped ahead in the story because, well, let me just finish this up. The Bill Gladson, who's a state attorney for the Fifth Judicial Circuit, said, life in prison is too good for this kind of evil. Now, I don't know. I know Florida's got a death penalty. Why this motherfucker didn't get it, but I skipped ahead in the story. Let me go back and tell you the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. Well, Jacklyn's last name was Schwingels. So officials said Jacklyn Schwingel's injuries indicated she was bent backwards beyond her natural range of motion. And a Florida man has been sentenced, that's Thompson, the asshole, to life in prison after he severed the spine of a 2-year-old girl in his care, causing her to die a week after her mother broke up with him. She broke up with him, she's still watching, but whatever. The jury deliberated for nearly 2 hours, and they found 27-year-old Travis Ray Thompson guilty of first-degree murder for killing 2-year-old Jacklyn Schwingel. And the rest of it, I told you about. And I made Cindy cry today. There you have it. Rest in peace, poor Jacklyn. Can you imagine the mom? I mean, people, it's real life, real crime, and you have all walks of life that are lifers, and we used to have to do the same kind of thing. I mean, when well, I did when I was a single parent. Sometimes you have to leave your kid uh, with a friend or a family member or whatever. You got to go to work.
Yeah.
Fuck, got to pay your bills. Your lights gonna get turned off. You didn't have shit, right? And so I guess she breaks up with this guy, and he used to watch her or something. I don't know. But she let him watch her and broke her back, and caused all that blood to make her stomach swell. Yep. And there you have.
I can't imagine.
We're going to conclude
Yeah.
this episode, True Crime Time, for Tuesday, June the 10th. Hey, I had not checked, and we'll check and update them tomorrow. If there's any live tickets left for our live show, my live show on Saturday, July 19th, Southeastern's main theater, Southeastern Louisiana University. Uh, the we have links, and you can post them again if it's not sold out. The links to buy the tickets, and it's $50 general admission, alcohol sales, and everything ahead of time and during, and food. And then 100 for the VIP, which after the show you get shuttled to and fro the VIP event. First drinks on us, and we get to hang out and party. Right? And thank you, Southeastern, and hashtag Justice Bradley. Y'all listen to the Queens of Digital Marketing Human Sex Trafficking series. Yeah, like, subscribe, and follow, and share everything that we do. And maybe tomorrow we'll try to make it a funny day.
Okay.
Please.
That would be
Probably not
nice.
going to happen because nothing really about true crime is funny.
No, I know there are some silly crimes, though. There are some, but
Yeah, but people don't tune in to hear just about silly crimes,
yeah.
right? But I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cindy Overton.
We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.